Are we all ready?
I bet we are.
Okay. Let's do the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Glad to see you all could make it. Okay, first is to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Gary,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. On to the consent items.
I'll move.
Warren,
Second.
seconded by Paul. Let's start doing the mean look already. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, on to the issue form. Okay, on here we have on there to nominate representatives for the Northwest Regional Development Commission. So
who's going off?
I don't know. That letter is the only one that we got.
Yeah, it was in the packet, but
it was meant for you to start looking for somebody unless you have somebody.
Oh, start looking.
okay.
Well, I'm going to Northwest today, so I'll get up to date on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Your eye open as you drive.
Just one.
Okay. So then let's go into our form. Gary.
Yes, had the opportunity to attend the corrections conference, MACCAC, which is the Minnesota Association of Community Corrections Act Counties. And very good. It's they promised that it would cater a little bit to commissioners, because obviously it's mostly correction people, but they did do that. And we spent some time on the Minnesota Rehabilitation and Revenue Act that was passed in 2023. And one would have thought it's gone a little bit progress. We're a couple of years, but not really. But we have an opportunity to at least take a look at what they see that act is doing, and certainly rehabilitation, reinvestment while people are in prison is certainly a good direction to go. Another state issue was regarding something that at least they're discussing now, and that's the raising the age of delinquency. And at first I thought, was that for adults? But no, it's for like 10, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old. It's kind of the data shows that the crimes begin to be a little bit more violent when people turn to around 12. So where that's going to go, we'll find out. But they're hoping to get some psychologists and people involved with that before they make any specific new acts. And then advisory board of other county commissioners. So one nice thing is that Tim Oisted from Norman County also attended, so it's a good opportunity just to get a chance to know him a little bit more. Where he's from. Yeah, I think he's going to do very, very, very well with that. Then we had a meeting with the public health, the Noman group, very short, make some decisions regarding audits. That was the first thing. And the Tri-Valley Search Committee has met several times. We interviewed 3 candidates on Zoom, and we brought 2 candidates in on Sunday, and we are focusing on one individual. So we'll follow up with that and then bring a recommendation on the
Meeting
14th Tuesday meeting. So far so good. Be good to get that position covered. That's it.
Okay, Warren.
Okay, I forgot my tools at home this morning, so I'm going off memory, and that's not very good. Anyway, one of the items I would talk about today is that learned yesterday that Mark is now in a hospital bed at home. Not going well there. You probably all saw the Harvest story that was
Yeah.
held on TV and such.
Several of them. Different
Very
channels.
emotional times there. I've had a couple of hot days in the last week because my air conditioning went out. It blew up. I had Valandry over
It's a
there.
bad week.
I had Valandry over there to check it out, and they got everything all set up. Well, you don't have any freon in this. If there's a leak, it's all leaked out.
Hmm.
27-year-old unit. It
Oh,
doesn't make sense to fix it, so I'm replacing it. And then I have a plenum heater in that whole arrangement too, so that complicates the situation. Anyway, that first $5,100 estimate is going to be up from there. We have, or I will have a Zoom meeting with the Water District meeting on Monday, thanks to a friend here who reminded me. But we're getting close to some agreement between the two water districts. The agreement is one thing the judge wants. I'm not so sure I know what the meeting Monday is really the subject of. What is that subject?
The go ahead to have the second or the final.
final meeting with the judge, and it takes 2 months to get set up or
Okay.
more.
It won't take very long, and I have you and Commissioner Jacobson. Norman will meet early at Justice Center.
Okay.
Your Tri-County Board.
Oh,
Okay. Okay, well, I'll just go there ahead of that. I'll be there at 8 o'clock or so. Is that?
Be there at 8.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's when the meeting, and it shouldn't last long, is that?
All right. Well, yeah.
We should be done well before 9 o'clock.
And Marshall Polk is going to act on this negotiated agreement. I don't remember what the date is, but it's about the middle of the month,
27th?
August or
Something like
October.
that.
But we're probably, as the water district, we won't probably act on it until they do. So anyway, things look like they're in place for this agreement that the judge wants. We'll see unless something happens at Marshall Polk and pulls it up again. And then that probably covers me. There was a light week. I had a long weekend. I had my niece from Rochester along with her husband. No, they kept me going. Party people.
That's why you forgot
how'd you make
everything
it today?
I mean,
Jeez, 2 days of recovery.
While you're free on.
anyway, that's probably enough out of me.
Okay, follow
The
that, Paul.
water district meeting, I thought was really good. At least it shows that we're doing some progression,
Yeah.
getting somewhere. We got the 2 major hurdles are being addressed and hopefully being taken care of. The Marshall Polk thing, and then getting to the judge. I was very pleased. That was a very informative meeting. We're just waiting for some other, um, like from Fertile and Beltrami, the ones that I'm working on is to getting their memorandum of inclusion that they want to be a part of this and get those things in so we can present that at the time of the presentation. And then the next day I was in the operating room, so I haven't did anything but try to stay awake.
What happened to you there?
No, they just replaced the
Oh,
bone or took a bone out.
it looked like it was a right cross or something.
Wow.
I mean, you could make it sound,
Yeah, I didn't get beat up. I won. How's that?
All right.
Okay, let's see, I had Shack membership meeting. We just kind of we're having our last coffee conversation and consideration coming up in November, and that's going to be on cannabis part 2, I think. And then we also just kind of discussed like what we had in responsibilities for the shack retreat, which I'm headed to Maple Grove today because our retreat is today's Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday there. So, and then I had Towards Zero Death. We're working on kind of like what our like county strategic plan looks like. Um, just spent a lot of discussion on what do we think community looks like. Like what are our beliefs, culture, those type of things, and then how do we, mesh all them together. And like one of the things, I mean, this was just after they did the beet harvest for Mark, and I said that just I think that's a huge showing of what our community is. We come together, and that's always I'm so proud to be part of the ag community because unfortunately we've had to do that many times, and um, we're there to help when we're needed. So I had planning and zoning, and Jake will be bringing the one thing we did approve. We had two other things on the agenda that we tabled. We just had a lot of questions and just were not prepared to make a decision on either of them. And then, like Gary said, we had our public health. And last Wednesday, Jake Schneider came to my house and we met with a couple representatives from Ranger Power, which do solar panels.
Mm.
And they're looking at a large project in Badger Township and then going into Red Lake County. And so it would be north of Highway 2, but they're looking at it could be up to 5,000 acres that it'll cover. So, that's a lot. And there's no substation that's located there for them to connect, but it would be close enough that they can connect to the transmission lines along 59. So, so they just kind of, explained what the project looks like. And I mean, Jake and I both had a lot of questions, and but these things, there's a lot of hurdles and things that they have to go through, and for a project this size, really the county, we don't have much of a say in it because it goes to the Minnesota PUC, goes to the state for permitting and stuff. So so that'll be a continuing item going forward. And then yesterday afternoon, I had a MAFPA CWDA meeting, and we're actually having a retreat in person the end of the month, but talking about, and we finished our first interim report, and that's working its way through the necessary people at the Children, Youth, and Families Division. And the 1st of January, then it'll go to the legislators to look at and see, if they will take into consideration any of our recommendations for, changes or additions, those type of things. And it's slowly starting to move forward. But, there's still a lot of unanswered questions going forward. And, we like, as far as the definition for race is pretty much covered. And then we're still struggling with the disproportionality, what the definition of that is. Because I think for us, that's going to be more the key, in our area because of low income families.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, so Is a continuing saga. And like I said, I'm headed to Maple Grove later tonight, but if we're not done shortly after 9, I'm going to have to leave early because I have a funeral in Princeton. So I'll be heading down for that and then heading to Maple Grove after that. So, Chuck, do you want to do some of your things?
I'm actually doing highway things today. Rich Sanders is out in a beat truck someplace.
Is he hauling beets today?
Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
saw tons of it going. I used
Yeah,
to seen it driving over here.
yeah, because when I had talked to him, he thought they were going to start like 8 o'clock last night. So I'm not sure if.
Yeah, I know
Well, it
they,
definitely got cold enough.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Kurt. Let me get to his items here.
getting closer.
Okay, so the first item is an agreement with the BNSF Railroad and Polk County, and who's the third one on here?
I suppose Boston Co-op.
Yeah, Foston Co-op on a rail spur project in Foston. The county would participate in this. You've seen the agreement and a lot of the details. The county's involvement would involve some bituminous work kind of wrap up the project. I don't believe it's in the packet anywhere, but Rich told me that that likely won't be more than $25,000, and it'll come out of the CASA allocation. So it is not a hit to any of the levy items, but we do need to sign on to this agreement. I think relatively routine thing working with the railroad. And I would request the board approve that action.
I'll move to approve.
Warren
I will second.
and Paul. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, that's a long agreement. Probably because there's 3 parties, but let me get down to the next item. Okay. The next is calcium chloride project, CP 125-00-1450. Not exactly sure what that means, but we've got a contract for 3 years, and the first year is complete. Typically, we retain 5% of that contract until the final payment can be reduced to 0. So that's the request here today, kind of a formality, but the board does take action on agreeing to pay out the retainage. That would bring year 1 down to 0%. And there's no data. There's just the memo on that.
So moved.
Paul
Second.
and Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Status of the budget. I have gone through the general fund budgets, made a few changes to what departments have given to me. Was able to reduce by about $50,000, which is actually very minimal at this point. I did converse with the sheriff about the building. Saying I don't think I'm going to levy for that at this point. I'll probably leave it in there, and we'll decide later what to do. I have had a couple of ideas come to me from other staff that I could follow up with the sheriff on if they're feasible. Either staff that know about properties that are maybe coming on the market or
Mm.
that the county already has, but nothing is
Well, the fairground too
straightforward.
is maybe an option.
Yeah, and I know you guys had some ideas too. Um, so so that'll come. I want to say that was kind of the low hanging fruit, but at this point, but I think it's pretty clear right now to me that the real push is going to be that additional jail levy.
Yeah.
But that's going to really impact us. And Stacy has told me yesterday that fund balances were being provided to her. It got a little hung up with some family issues from our consultant. So I'll probably see that this week, and then I'll try to make some good options for the board to look at next meeting on how to pay for some things from fund balance.
Mhm.
I'm also asking her to, give me a full accounting of where we're at with Apto and
Right.
Questica and the UKG software because we didn't technically budget for those.
Mhm.
We may even we're even looking at from a protocol standpoint of doing a budget amendment here before the year's over to account for that formally with the board. Otherwise, the audit has been completed and was submitted on September 30th. This is notable because that's never happened in the time I've been here. Usually hasn't happened within the calendar year.
Progress.
So they will be before you the next meeting. Colleen will come in and give you an update. Keep in mind this is a 2024 audit, so a lot of what's happening in 2025 won't show up. But she's well aware of a lot of the changes that have been made, a lot of the improvements, and certainly having an audit done by the end of September, which legally is the last date to have it done. That's what's required. Otherwise, you have to ask the state auditor's office for an extension, which of course we've been doing. But it's actually possible to utilize the audit to help us with the budget. I think there's some tying out that we still want to do for 2025. But we're moving in the right direction and, still got a lot to do. It's really quite a slog, but we're getting there. That's kind of where I'm at on the budget. I've got to go through some other departments still, but I'll probably come back to you with directions. I generally know where you are all at, but my initial thought on October 7th right now is that added jail levy is going to be an issue.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
and it's not just a one time, it's going to be a continuing push.
yeah, it's going to be the way it is, and that the fact that the jail bond levy ends for 2026 may help us with some of that, but it may not be what I would call a windfall, or it may not be what we would have hoped for it to be. But I have talked with AMC about it a little bit and some other county administrators, and they must all already be on this HC contract
Mhm.
that we've had to move to from Altru, that Tri-County has had to move to, and I think we're just gonna have to keep our eye on the issue. I don't know if it came up at the jail conference, because that might have been a good place to hear about it, but
And just concerns of
yeah. I think the probably why it seems so oppressive to us and not to others is that they already have they're already in that situation. So maybe we would have been fortunate to date, but not so much anymore.
Mhm.
But yeah, just for context, if my Minneapolis high school math off the top of my head, it was a $250,000 levy increase initially from Tri-County. Add another $366,000 to that. That pushes us over $600,000
Mhm.
on the levy.
It's like two.
2025 levy increase was $872,000. So it really,
Mhm.
I think you can kind of see where this is going. So we got a little bit of work to do, and we have a little deeper discussions as we go. I might talk to the two of you too. I think from a finance committee standpoint, I might have a couple of things I want to talk to you about before the end of the month. Don't have a time or a date. It might be another week or two.
Yeah, okay.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll go back to Kurt, who I noticed came into the room. He's kind of a small, quiet guy. So
Morning.
Morning.
It's that time of year again. I'm asking the board to make a motion to participate in Operation Greenlight, which what we do for that is we during the week of Veterans Day week, which is November 4th through the 11th, we honor veterans by displaying green light bulbs. For the county, we have them on our flagpoles. So we also encourage the community to do it as well. So this is kind of a simple thing to do, but it's a big thing, big impact on veterans because it shows that we support them for what they've done and the sacrifice they've made. So hoping you guys want to participate in that again this year. So
move.
Second.
Paul and Warren. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
all right, thank you guys. Have a good day.
You too.
Next time you could stay a little longer.
Yeah, I know.
just scroll down here.
Good timing.
Good morning. I try.
Yeah.
All right, back for another year. Once again, here looking for some action for the 2026 taxes payable watershed levy requests will be our first action, and then also reviewing the Northwest Regional Development Commission and the HRA levy requests, as well as the two Lakeshore Improvement District budgets for 2026. Down here. So the first item is the watershed levy requests. We deal with a total of 4 watersheds here in Polk County. In this first column here is their requested levy for 2026. And in the farthest right-hand column, it shows the difference between last year's requested levy. So for example, the Middle Snake Tamarack River Watershed District's levy increase was about $57,000 for 2026, and so on. You can see down the line there.
Is that on Red Lake? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh yeah. I see it. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Okay.
We don't have a whole lot to say about these, do we? We just-
Not really. I guess I've never been in that situation where there's been much to say about it.
You
So.
can say all you want. There's not much you can do.
Sure.
There you
There
go.
you go.
That's the proper terminology, Warren.
What was that?
I said you can say all you want. You just can't do much.
Do anything about it.
All right, well, I would move to approve them then.
Yep, I second that.
Okay. Warren and Paul on the watershed. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
So then the next request would be for the Northwest Regional Development Commission, the Polk County portion, and then the Housing and Redevelopment Authority. So the top item here and the bottom. So the Regional Development Commission was a total increase of $3,730 to their levy for 2026. The HRA actually was a $10,655 decrease to their levy this year. So
Okay.
You want separate motions on these?
these two are combined, and then the water lakeshore improvement districts are combined.
So we,
Everything in one roll.
well, so we need a motion on this here now, the,
On this part, I
these
move.
two. Okay, Paul,
Second.
seconded by Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried. Okay, now on to
Perfect. Now the
lake
middle two
improvement.
items. Yep. So the Maple Lake Improvement District levy increased $5,250 from last year, and the Union Lake Sarah Improvement District did not increase at all. It was staying at $12,500.
Mhm. Okay, so looking for a motion to approve those two.
Move. I will.
Paul,
I'll second. I'm not anywhere near those districts, but
and Warren, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
There's all the extra paperwork
Thanks for
from all those.
for your help.
And then the next items that I have before you is the ambulance special assessment requests for 2026. And zoom in here a little bit. That might have been one too far. So right now, as it sits, the Crookston Ambulance District had no increase from last year, so they're sticking at a $40 special assessment per household. The Fertile ambulance was a $5 increase, so a total of $165 per household. And Foston had an $11 increase for a total of $101 per household for their ambulance subsidy.
I would so move
Okay,
approval.
Second.
Gary and Paul, any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, carried.
Perfect. Thank you.
Just short and simple.
I try to keep it painless. Thanks, guys.
Yep, thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
I've asked John and Jake to come early. Maybe I can grab
Get corn.
Karen quickly here.
Okay,
See if I can grab her upstairs. Be right back.
okay. Well, why don't we just take a little break then until our next person gets here.
Sounds good.
Okay, so
He'll be
we are
up there. He'll
back.
come down and he'll be. All right. So good morning.
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 I'll try to find my request here, but I am here this morning. We had a resignation in our family-based service provider unit, so I'm here to request a refill of a family-based service provider position.
we have 5 of those now.
Yes.
Is Beth still in?
We are
We are currently down 2 family-based workers. We had 1 resignation because they moved to be an eligibility worker. And then our second family-based worker in East Grand Forks resigned. And so we are looking, posted a temporary position to see if we can get someone to provide some coverage because we're 2 workers down. And we've started to see an increase in referrals from the schools and schools in session again. So this request is to fill a permanent family-based service provider position and any internal subsequent position vacancies occurring because of this action.
Okay, I'll move.
Okay, Warren,
Second.
seconded by Gary. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay,
All right, thank you.
yep,
Thank
thanks.
you. Thanks for coming early.
I was looking for you.
Thank you.
Are we on break again?
Yeah, sorry about that. Really going quick.
Mm-hmm. We're not messing around.
Oftentimes we're still on forum.
So true.
Yeah. Are we on or off?
We are,
We
would
are.
you like to go on a break?
As well.
Yeah, we
Sure.
might as well go back on a break. on. Okay.
Right.
Morning, John.
Good morning. Thanks for accommodating the last minute addition to the agenda. It's kind of a surprise to Chuck yesterday as well when they walked in and said, "You want the good or bad news?" I put it.
Give them the good news.
Give him the good. Well, I have to change up the agenda now.
Oh, I gotta go with
We
that.
gotta go with the bad news first. So, just going through the cover letter, I did update it from what I believe went in the packet. I sent that up to Ashley and Chuck so they can update it. Really, the only update was the number on it. So we had 2 grants in 2024 for solid waste. One was what we call the enhanced recycling grant. That one was to basically put in a bag opener and a double deck screen on the fines line to try and capture the small recyclables that were leaving the plant and going out to landfill as daily cover, and also try and capture the glass to increase the value of it so that we could use the glass for a higher purpose, basically going back to a glass market in the Twin Cities instead of as cover material or some other use. So that one was awarded, and we've been working towards implementing that. The second one was this co-collected, the SSOM stands for Source Separated Organic Material. That's the label the state puts on, basically food scraps, separated at the residence or at the place of business, the food prep business. So they don't go into the garbage, but they're managed separately as a compostable material. ASP in the grant refers to aerated static pile. It's a technology used to make compost where you're injecting air, forced air through the pile to speed up the compost process. So that was a 2-part grant. That one was also awarded. Both of the grants had a component at the material recovery facility in Boston, so they both can be done at the same time. So we've already ordered the equipment. The equipment was ordered beginning of the year, 2025, based on quotes from 2024. Of course, things have changed since then, and one of the things that's changed is tariffs, and they keep yo-yoing around in terms of what's hit and what percentages, whatever it would be. So it's kind of been a moving target. We had 3 big pieces of equipment, the 2 for the recycling project I already mentioned, the screener and the bag opener. One came from the Netherlands, the other one came from Germany. They both imported to their US-based facilities, so they handled all of the transition to getting the equipment into the United States through customs, and then they just pass along the tariff to us, just like they do when they get an updated freight number. On this grant, we ordered a robotic system. That system is made in Canada, and they do not have a US-based office, so we had to handle getting it across the border. Normally not a really big deal. We worked with Titus MRF Services as the company putting all this together for us. Same company we used back in 2018 to build the new MRF under the CAP grant. We use their importer just because that'd be easier. They have a relationship with them. They've known them. We didn't have to set up any new accounts, any agreements, working through them. We've had, trying to be diplomatic here, difficulty with getting these robots into the United States, and difficulty with the importer. Communication's been lacking, and we had an unsuccessful attempt to bring the robots into the U.S. We were told they were cleared to come. Truck got to the border and was turned away. Then they notified us we needed to actually post a bond in order to cover the tariffs. That was the holdup. We got that in place. The machines, or the robots made in the U.S., we have them on site. Titus is on site as of last week to start the project. We got the tariff bill from the importer on Thursday late afternoon. Much to everyone's surprise, it's a $550,000 contract with Waste Robotics. That includes some of the support and the hookup of the machines, calibrating them once they're on site. So when you take that off, the value of the equipment was $460,400. The tariff came in at 50%, $230,200. That's what I put in here. Now, what I handed you actually didn't include their process fees, so that brings up to what is it, $230,530. So that's the change. This number changed slightly for that processing fee. I didn't catch that when I went through it. Now we've been contesting that. We don't believe that duties should apply to this at all under the USMCA agreement. As of yesterday evening, the chief financial officer for Waste Robotics weighed in, demanding that they provide whatever code they're using, that they come up with this dollar figure. And they say that they have imported stuff in the United States and it's been duty free. And the last we got was, we'll look at it first thing in the morning. The problem we have is the agents, I believe the agent is based in Atlanta. The company is based out of LA. So there seems to be like a 3 to 4 hour lag between communicating when it goes one way, and then when it comes back, they're almost done at the end of their day, and then only leaves a couple hours in between. So the check is supposed to be cut today. So the agreement was, because we're using Titus as exporter, that Titus would put the money in, then bill us for it. So they'll have to cut a check one way or the other for this today, or make payment. I'm assuming a wire payment or whatever it would be. So anyway, that's everything is kind of a crunch right now. But being the timing of the board meetings, the timing of the payment, thought I better get the approval to pay what we may be stuck with. I wouldn't think there'd be this kind of variation in doing this, but apparently there is. So what I'm asking for is permission to pay the tariff that could range from anywhere from $0 to $230,530.
Where would this money come from?
Well, it have to come out of our solid waste budget. I mean,
Well,
that's
we have
just,
some money there.
we have some money there. I'd already talked to the state of Minnesota about shifting some of our grant monies around to cover this. So we would take out of that ASP portion of the system to cover this. But we have other tariffs in there. There's not enough to transfer. So some of this is going to be out of pocket. How much really depends on what this
Hopefully
number
zero.
settles at. That would be best case. You know, I kind of piled on a little bit when they were going back and forth, and so I just ran a Google AI search and typed in what would the duties be on a $500,000 robotic sorter system imported into the U.S. from Canada, and it spit me out basically the same numbers the CFO from Waste Robotics did. It should be zero, or it could be subject to a 2.5%, which would be $12,500 on a $500,000 system. I'd be fine paying that even. I mean, it's just, I assumed we would have some. They also have special tariffs on metals. You know, if you're using foreign metals instead of US steel or aluminum, there's some special ones, and that was kind of the caveat that Google AI put on the answer. But again, you should just be tariffing the value of the metal and not the total value of the system.
Of the system.
That's what the tariff is supposed to be for, is they want you to use US steel, not buy equipment because of what it was made of. So I wish I had better news. I may have better news by the end of the day, but this is
You're giving us the worst case scenario.
what I hope is the worst case scenario. One of the dangers in pushing is when someone reinterprets it and it's something else, but this should be the highest it would be. And hopefully I would expect it would be lower.
one of the numbers I heard was 35%, which would be around $180,000,
Mhm.
$185,000. Still better than 50%, but yes, I'd much rather see the 2.5% or zero.
Yeah, if we had a choice. Okay, well, I guess looking for a motion.
You are our rep on that board. Would you like to make that motion?
Sure.
And I'll second it.
I'll make the motion. And Warren seconds it. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Thank
Let
you.
us know if you get good news today.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to send that out to
Yes.
everybody? If I get good news, it would be an update to the board to some
Yes, of
things.
course.
Just
Bad news gets supposedly gets equal time, but
No news is good.
News would be good news.
Right.
Mhm.
it's both the same stoicism that we deal with everything.
okay. So on to a little good news. So I had a meeting with the PCA last week. They were up to Foston. They're required by law under these grants to be on site once a year to verify the work's occurring.
Mhm.
Meeting was scheduled well in advance. They just happened to pick the first day where work was actually going to occur. So they got to watch the bag opener arrive and be unloaded. They got to see the system before it was modified. So modifications are starting now. So they were up. I did talk to them. I didn't have this news at the time regarding the tariff. We knew there'd probably be something. And so I had wanted to incorporate some of those other things that we were looking at doing, the in-feed system, magnet system in there that we are going to have Titus do into the grant. And we need to do a budget amendment and timeline amendment for doing that. So we talked about that and transferring money and what we would pull from and what we would add to, and part of it was to cover the tariffs. So they were aware of that. They asked for what the status was on the ASP portion of the system that we're pulling, and I had to update them. We still had not received our landfill permit. And the permit, until the permit was issued, our engineer was going to remain associated with it. We wouldn't get the new engineer until that process was done.
Mhm.
And any work I do on that compost pad requires the sign off of the engineer. And I didn't think it was fair to the new engineer coming in to be saddled with the decisions of the
Previous one.
outgoing one. And we had concerns over what we were getting from the outgoing one already, which is part of the reason they're outgoing. So they said they understood. I informed the PCA that I just had to tell their grant people that, our permit still has not been issued and is impacting things. We've missed the 2025 construction season. As a result of this, that's half the period on the grant. We couldn't do the work because of the funding agency. So I got a message that the permit had gone out, but we hadn't received it. So I did receive our landfill permit, the permit that we started in 2015, that was issued February 2017, with the contingencies that we get the plans approved, which are part of the permit, at a later date as soon as possible, which had never happened. That's what's kept us from being able to sell compost and certify the compost to sell it. We had a landfill permit major modification application pending from January 2020 related to the compost that they had not acted on. And then as a result of the wetland process we went through, we picked up some acreage, which was just residual from what they basically took away from us in the wetland permit process. Pick up that extra portion that we did get of the future cells into our current footprint so we could build that cell 15 that was made, that application was made in the spring of 2024. And of course, we built the cell without the permission to, they'd reviewed the design specs and everything, so they're fine with that, but we did not have the
major permit modification from 2024. So we had outstanding plans and 2 permit modifications that were all pending that approval. So that did arrive in the mail. It was dated September 29th. We received it basically yesterday in the mail. So I had it sent to me by email the end of last week when I brought that up. So I'm not sure why they didn't send the electronic copy. So we have the permit expires February of 2027. We're required to submit a permit application 6 months before expiration. So we will have to basically start the entire process right now for the next 10-year permit. And we just got our last 10-year permit. So the good news is all those things are approved.
So now we can
We
start.
can now
selling
move
compost.
forward with selling compost, and I have a meeting set for later this week. I was hoping it would be an on-site meeting. A little surprised that they set it up as a video meeting. The point was to get the new engineer up on site and walk them through so they're familiar with what we're talking about doing. So I think that'll be, from our perspective, the takeaway from that meeting this week is setting a date to get them up here ASAP before we have snow on the ground, because we have to start doing planning for the next permit application.
Right.
We don't have a whole lot of time to wait. So good news is basically a 10+ year process has ended.
Ready for the next
It's been
10-year process.
extremely costly and frustrating and drawn out. But that one's in the rearview mirror, and hopefully with new personnel, fresh start, we won't have these issues.
We can hope for the best.
Yes.
Stay positive.
This is supposed to be good news, so that's how we're framing
Yay!
it. Yes. So, but yes, that process is now
Okay.
complete. So some of those things on my to-do list that been there year to year to year to year to year
Yep.
are coming off now. So
Okay. Sounds good.
Good job.
Way to keep on them.
well, I don't have a choice. There are permits. It's not like you can walk away or not do it. So yeah, I just hopefully the next process is much smoother.
Having a new engineer will certainly be looked at as a possibility.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yep.
Okay.
So that's all I have. The robot, the other equipment is being worked on right now. So they're staging things. They just put up some of the superstructure for one of the pieces of equipment yesterday. They're working nights and weekends. So we're operating at some level, during the project. The project should go about 6 to 7 weeks is what they're looking at. So wrap up around mid-November.
Right before Thanksgiving, probably.
They're a California outfit. They aren't exactly cold hardy crew. Of course, when they did our last one, they arrived in February, right from Aruba, I think was where they were working right before that. So
Good for them.
little shock,
Yeah.
100 and some degree
Rude
temperature
awakening.
change.
That's
And
good for them.
their first day was a blizzard. So
Imagine
they
that.
know what to avoid. There's big incentive for them to finish early. So
Yep. Exactly. So okay.
We're gonna give Jake 15 minutes here because the chair has got to leave.
Yeah.
Okay, then you'll
get
it done
at 5.
Okay. I
All
like
right.
5.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Will do.
Hi, Jake.
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Am I going back?
Just 2 back, yep.
So I just have one action item today, very simple plat. Chris and Brad Connor are looking to acquire some property to their backlot. So the complexities of this is the orange shaded area is platted property. So what that means is its description is it's a lot of this plat. Their backlot is actually a meets and bounds, so it describes the 75 feet by the 200 by X, Y, and Z. This is an existing shed they acquired upon purchase. This was permitted in 1996. It does have a septic system. It's a holding tank right here. The ironic thing is the garage and the position of this is probably about 4 feet off the property lot line. So in order for them to even use and access this, for years they've been just in good terms with this neighbor. They proposed to us to add some property. That's this blue box. This is what they would acquire if this plat is processed. And so this little area here would come off this large tract of land. Both parcels have frontage along public roads. There is a clause in our shoreland district that as long as these properties like this match front lots, which it does, they own a front lot here, cabin on it with this shed. And as long as it's 15,000 square feet or greater, then this could be a lot for a back lot with shed use only. So I do have something that does need to get added to the plat, some language. So the final plat, when Widseth, who did this plat, the final plat must include this language that plat development restrictions on lot 2 Connor addition can only be used for a shed use and no dwelling, as per our Polk County zoning ordinance section 18.2147A states. So that should be stamped right on the plat under development restrictions. It isn't on the preliminary plat currently, so that will need to be added. That was the recommendation from the Planning Commission. Just kind of brief pictures. This is that shed. This other shed is on a neighboring lot there. This is the rear of it. So the property lot line is right here. That's a survey line. They would look at acquiring additional property up to this point. That shed is sitting up here. So really, because they are using that property, them and the owner of this large tract here came to terms with acquiring that little section of property there. With that, pretty basic. Basically, just to clean up the legals on this, that will be lot 2 of Connor addition, and this will be lot 1. Will be that large tract of land. This obviously is buildable. This large tract here. So really no wetland areas. There are a couple of holding areas that probably spring meltwater sits in here, but nothing was glaring on that. Still should be able to use for future development for that large tract. So other standards, so they don't choose to have any covenant restrictions on the final plat. We found that out during the public hearing. They're not going to have anything that says you can't do X, Y, and Z. And then after the final plat is submitted, they'll have 6 months to wrap everything up. And our planning commission chose to waive final review. So I will bring this before the board for final action once I get those Mylars to secure signatures. But really basic plat just to clean legals up. So looking for a motion to approve this plat with those recommendations from staff and the planning commission.
So moved.
Paul,
Second.
seconded by Warren. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
All right.
All right.
Opposed? Carried.
That's all I got.
Okay,
Thank you, Jake.
thanks.
Yeah, have a good rest of your day.
Okay, anybody else have anything? Do you have anything else to add, Chuck?
Drive safe. That's what I tell you.
Yeah. Okay,